Okay, I'd like to call the Executive Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, August 22nd. If we can get a roll call, please. Checking the mic.
Thank you. Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk?
Present.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Seroy? Mr. Miller? Mr. Carrico? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long? Mr. Eckhoff? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right. No public comment requested today. Approval of minutes, June 27th, 2023. Is there a motion there? Mr. Eckhoff, second. Mr. Carrico, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Don't really have anything under legislative today, unless anybody else does. Let's see here. Mr. Duval, monthly update from IT, or IS, excuse me. Oh, that's right. I apologize. His item is tomorrow. Remember, we're going to be talking about that bid for the phone systems. So that's why I just said come tomorrow. I forgot about that. I apologize. There's no point in him coming in. He'll give a report tomorrow if there's anything else to talk about. So, Mr. Beavis from the Health Department, his monthly update. I could make, we have technical difficulties on your mic.
Thank you. Good morning. Again, like last month, I have my report that I had sent to Kelly and should be in your packets. It's pretty just typical stuff for the last month with what's going on at the health department. We've been real busy with a number of events and other events that are calling in. There are 7 grants that we're currently working on that have to be turned in by the end of this week. So there's a lot of administration stuff going on. We had a Board of Health meeting last week. So I'll just open it up for any particular questions or concerns at this point and see what I can do to answer those.
Does anybody have any questions for John? Yes, Ms. Foster.
Good morning, Mr. Beavis.
Good morning.
Here recently, I see on the news that COVID is creeping up a little bit, and I know a couple of my friends have contracted it again. Should we be putting our masks back on?
There's no recommendation by the state currently. Now, obviously, masks are available and masks are recommended. Are masks mandatory? That answer would be no. COVID is still here. COVID is still present. There are different variations. There's 2 or 3 different ones in the last couple of months that we have been watching and paying attention to from the information from the state. Recent webinars that we have had with them have indicated that currently within the state, there's been about a 1% spike in numbers, not necessarily seeing anything in hospitalizations above normal at this point. So hopefully, and again, I can't say that with 100% certainty, but hopefully with, you know, all the technology and things that we do know now, people wearing masks, staying home when they get sick, all the things that we preached before, if people continue to do that, the different variants will produce, at this point, unknown type symptoms, whether it's hitting somebody harder or not. So even if you've had vaccinations, you can still catch COVID just like you can the flu and other viruses. But without vaccinations, maybe you're more susceptible to a stronger illness than maybe somebody who has been vaccinated. So at this point, that's the best I can answer. When we get information from the state, but currently there is no discussion that implies we're moving back towards masks and lockdowns and those kinds of things, and I hope not.
Have you heard anything about when the new vaccine will be administered?
Well, there's vaccine available now, and the flu vaccine we've ordered that, and that's going to be coming to the health department soon. There was talk potentially that they were looking at combining a flu and COVID as one shot, but that's not at least going to happen this year. So it's still an individual one. So if you were going to get vaccinated, whether it was a shingle shot, a pneumonia shot, a COVID shot, a flu shot, those would all be individual at this point, nothing combined.
Okay.
Good questions.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Featherling.
Is there more cases of a common cold than there is of COVID right now? That's what I kind of heard of.
I don't know. I don't have an
You don't
answer
get
for that.
reported for common colds, do you?
The common colds are typically not reported at a hospital level, maybe where a test has been specifically done at a medical facility that then turns those statistics into IDPH, that then turns them into the CDC. Then those numbers would indicate what would be reflective in a community, but I don't know if it comes down to, you know, Kankakee County has seen, for example, XYZ number of colds. You know, we would expect, you know, as school starts and you've got these large populations back together again, congregating in rooms, even though it's not necessarily colder, but remember, it's not necessarily weather, but it's just the crowding of individuals. So, you know, when we were wearing masks, that's an added level of protection. When you're not wearing masks, it takes that protection away. When you put more people together and some of them are sick and not even exhibiting signs and symptoms, they're going to spread that virus along. Whether it's COVID, whether it's the flu, whether it's the cold. Makes
Thank you.
my job secure, I guess.
Anyone else? All right.
Well, that was simple. Thank you, sir. Have a great
Will
weekend.
we be able to talk about Iris next month? Do you think we'll be farther planning down the road?
I can. Yes, I
Just
can. I
next
can
month,
have.
yeah.
I can have a more in depth, since we've just started having those meetings. We're actually having the second one today with our staff as we move forward. So we'll have had 2 more meetings, and I can report out
Might make
on
sense.
what it is that we're looking at and what we're doing and where we're at.
Okay.
Thank you.
That referral system that we mentioned, Iris, that we're requiring our grantees on the social service side to participate in, it's creating a buzz out there. I think people have finally figured out what it is and what it does, and it may have seemed somewhat heavy-handed on the front end. Now we have people that didn't get grants that want to join in because they realize what it is, and it's basically clearing the deck and make sure people know where to go, and then a warm handoff between service providers, which is where we lose people usually. So I'm happy to see how that's progressing. So good job on that to the health department. Moving on, the under schools, Frank is not here today, I don't believe. Kevin, did you have anything for the group just to mention? I know it's we're going to talk tomorrow more, but
yeah. I'm sorry about that. I just had an item that somebody requested me to look into before.
was the computer on? Turned it.
No, this was a suspicious file. So
Okay, all right,
I
okay,
wanted to do
priorities.
that before I shot up here. So, well, yeah, just basically I'm telling you, for the department, we're on schedule. Everything's working fine. We're on budget. We're entering the last quarter of the fiscal year. This is the year that we go through the network and we start replacing items. We look at the performance of desktops and stuff and decide what, if any, need to be replaced. This is always scheduled. We wait till the end of the year to look at these items so we don't blow all the budget in the beginning of the year. See what we can get through. Everything's working so far. I've scheduled some network upgrades, stuff that we do. Again, this stuff's on budget, but this is things that we do that we should be notifying you about as it goes on. In addition, I've got it scheduled to add additional security camera system for the SAA and the building that they moved in there. I was going to talk to Wes to make sure he's not doing something already, but since it's a small place, I could do something inexpensive unless something's already scheduled. That's no additional cost to anybody. It's something I can afford to do when
It'll be on the same system though.
yeah.
Okay.
They're on our network there.
Correct.
So they're not connected to our network, but they're on the same thing, so it's easy to set up.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we're still securing everything that's on inside the network.
Yep.
And lastly, I believe the last few months we talked about that at some point soon we will be doing a new phone system. The RFP is completed. At least the first draft is completed. We need fifth floor to review it, make sure it fits what they feel comfortable with. Then they'll move that over to the SAO for them to review it and make sure that it fits whatever before it goes out. Again, this is a preventative measure. There's no emergency happening. It doesn't have to be done right now, but it's already scheduled to be done. It's budgeted, I believe. Well, it's up to the chairman and finance to decide where it comes from, but it's been budgeted. So
IT.
all that's in place, and that's going to be
Take it from
going.
IT. Yeah.
So in general, that's what's going on in update. So, but I did want to report to you. I said by the August, I'd let you know where we're sitting on RFP. It's completed. It needs to be reviewed before it goes any farther than that.
Okay. And so the group knows we'll let the bid and open it not in this committee. It'll probably, I would say, what were we saying, leave it, let the bid in building and grounds and take it in finance, because it is more of a building and grounds project. But Kevin's just kind of keeping you up to date on it. So.
Yeah, this is executives, not really the place for that, but since we had to take this part over, that's why I'm reporting on it.
Any questions for Kevin? All right, thank you. Moving on, no schools today, no VAC it looks like. Let's see here. County Administrator, Speckman, with their monthly update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rather short report today, hopefully. I was pretty excited because we had 6 openings on our website. That would have been the smallest number since we've been tracking that. But in checking with Tom Latham, while he has 1 probation officer posted, he has 4 openings currently. So we're at 10 openings, which is pretty consistent. And again, like I mentioned all the time, that does not include the sheriff's department, so corrections or on the sworn side. So they post their own. So other than that, we do have 10. Really, it's attorneys, assistant state's attorney, and public defenders, 1 part-time, 1 full-time, and the 4 probation. So largely that safety side of the house and court side of the house. So let's see, 10 is about consistent what we've been running for about the last 6-8 months. So kind of where we're hanging out. And all these current openings are over 30 days old. So that's another thing I watch, is that a stale opening or a recent opening. The recent openings are getting filled and these stale ones just kind of stay out there. We did have new hire orientation on Wednesday the 16th. We had 13 attendees, which goes to the fact that we kind of have not so many openings now. So it was canceled in July. We had 13 in June, but that's a good number for us there. And I did attend the County Recorder's Community Resource Fair on Saturday, July 29th, and I don't have any additional job fairs scheduled at this time, but I do have a conference call scheduled with Tom Latham for this afternoon to kind of come up with ideas for him that maybe we can get some more visibility to his positions. This is the final quarter of the year, so there are some big things that we'll be working on that are on our plate right now, and we've just started working on. We're heading into open enrollment and renewal. Mike Lynch will be at the Finance Committee tomorrow. I received an update from him. He's not going to have our renewal tomorrow. He won't have it until next week or early the following week. He will have some handouts for preview. We had some challenging numbers in terms of our run rates for this year of what it was looking like through June. July numbers were really good, so he thinks that's positive as we head into renewal. So we'll see what he's got to say. It's kind of a little teaser there. I'll let Mike give you the full story tomorrow.
Riveting. Health insurance.
Can't wait. We did receive the renewal paperwork. Oh, just a word on health insurance. Kelly did do a census of all our employees, the information needed to send that out to other companies for competing bids. So that's been done. So there'll be at least hopefully something to compare it to. We did receive the renewal paperwork for liability, work comp, auto, etc. So I'll start working on that. That typically takes me about a month or so to put together, 3-4 weeks to put that together. And the last quarter of the year, we always do our sexual harassment training, which is required by the state of Illinois to be an annual training for all employees. So Joanne has a call into IPMG. Our insurance company always gives us one. There are some departments that do the state of Illinois testing. The bulk of our employees, we do the testing out of IPMG, but as long as it meets the criteria for the state of Illinois, we accept that, and then we have Joanne tracks to make sure that every employee has taken the training. So we'll do that. That's it.
You reminded me of something. I signed the paperwork, so we are going to the market on our work comp and liability. So it's always good to check. You don't want to check every year because then you become non-competitive. So it's right in that time period. So we are going out there for bids to see how that goes. I really don't expect much better. Inflation happens everywhere. Just be prepared for what we might see on health.
Right.
Be prepared what we see on a lot of things. I've gotten a few phone calls about electricity and aggregation. People don't remember ComEd announced a 14% increase earlier this year that was going to hit in, I don't know, August. I mean, late July, August. I believe it was August when the new bills were supposed to come out, so people are getting those. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into that, but remember, we're pegged to the ComEd rate. So our aggregation is not going to be any different than what the ComEd rate is. So that's in the rural areas. If you live in the towns, well, they negotiated their own deals, except for some of the smaller communities in the rural areas. So the people who got the letters may have questions, and you could, there's information on the back of it, but they can also go to the website. That letter, I believe, is still on the website. We left it up there. Just we're feeling it. We're going to feel it in our budgets all the way across. So it's more of a finance thing, but I thought I would just tag all that together because it is part of the policy of what we do. Have you heard anything in the office? Have anybody called about the rates? Not so much. I'm just curious because it's right as this happened, the month the letters go out is when the new rates start. So it was a perfect storm thinking, they've changed my bill on me. Well, we didn't change it as far as that goes. It's not a higher rate than ComEd would charge. So, anything else? Anita?
No.
Thanks. All right. Reappointment of Carol Weber to the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. Is there a motion there on that one, Mr. Miller? Let's go with Dr. Polk with a second. Any questions? We got to really grill her on this one here. So, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same side. Motion carries. It's Drainage District month, it looks like. Yes? All right. You got to do it. It's official. So one opening on all of the following drainage districts. McGilvery Special Drainage District, Cabry Area Protection, Fire Protection District. Actually, I've got a couple mixed in here. Housing Authority, one opening. Animal Welfare Advisory Committee for the vet. I imagine the vet will probably reapply, but BM Lewis Drainage District, Canavan Drainage, Clausen Park Drainage, X-Line Creek Drainage, Gar Creek Drainage, Little Beaver Special Drainage, Mantino Drainage, number 9, Minnie Creek Drainage, Moments and Yellowhead, number 1, Raymond Drainage, Snake Creek Drainage District. Looks like we have 2 there. Or is it just 1? Yes. There's just 1? Okay. Yellowhead Washington Union Drainage, number 2. And then 2 openings on the Union Drainage, number 2. Rockville Drainage number 1, Moments Pembroke Union Drainage number 1, Kankakee County Public Building Commission. There's 2 openings there. Have to make sure, and I believe we've sent those out. Yeah, okay. And 5 openings on the Sheriff's Merit Commission, 6 openings on the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. So it's reappointment time, basically. So do we expect any, if there is going to be new,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think just one of the committee will not be back. They all have agreed to come back. It's just getting their applications in. I sent a reminder out to them. We got a little busy talking about other things and they forgot.
Oh,
So
okay.
we were talking puppies and kitties. So.
Well, yeah,
Very-
everybody's got their priorities. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's what we're there for. So yes, they'll all be back except for one.
Okay. Let's see here.
And that's okay.
We do have a new business item, provision of insurance addendum to intergovernmental agreement between the County of Kankakee and the Kankakee Regional Land Bank. Start with a motion to approve first on this, and then we'll go Ms. Parker, Mr. Featherling. Basically, we found that we don't have to pay for insurance because the city and the county have the same liability carrier, so we just add them in additionally as insured. So the land bank doesn't have to pay for the insurance. It just makes sense to add them along since we're in this partnership together. So that's basically it. We looked for insurance for quite a while, and we said, well, we both have the same carrier. Why don't we have, you know, or the land bank board did. So it was a good call on their part. So, trying to think here. Let's do roll call just in case something needs to be covered separately.
Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Carrico? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Long? Mr. Ecka? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler?
Aye.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Motion carries.
All right. Is there any other new business? Any other new business?
I would like to say something.
I thought you might. Yes, Dr. Polk, please go ahead.
Okay, I know they said, oh God, she must be begging for something. You're right. I would just like to know, on September the 2nd, we're taking 57 young people from Kankakee County to the Windy City Classics. And if I could get anyone to volunteer to donate some money for that, we will be going to the Windy City Classics, which is a scholarship. There'll be 45 schools that will be there, and you can actually sit down and talk to the recruiters face to face. And then we will go to the Battle of the High School Bands. I'll make it real quick. And then we'll go to the football game. It'll be Mississippi State versus, I forgot that real quick. Anyway, but it's the football game, and we'll be there all day.
Okay.
And I just need some help for the chartered bus right now.
So,
And thanks to Mr. Hunter, he donated, some of his friends, they donated money for part of the bus, but we need some more help on the bus.
so how would people get a hold of the organization that's doing this? Is it under MLK Foundation or is it?
Yeah, it's field trips, MLK field trips. We don't take it from our scholarship money. Scholarship money stays scholarship money. It's a not-for-profit and it's for field trips.
So what number
Like-
would people call if they were to want to help out?
Call me,
And that number is?
815-685-9220.
I wish I could flash that on the bottom of the screen, you know, like 1-800-EMPIRE, you know. No, hopefully, yeah, that works out. I know it's a great event, and thank you for doing that. Any other new or old business? Old business, yes, sir.
Make the motion to adjourn.
You snuck that in
Second.
there, didn't you?
Oh.
Mr. Hess? They're getting sneaky.
I didn't hear him back there.
There's a motion and a second. We
didn't know he was here.
don't need any chatter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So that's